Hello. There's no one here. Just going to stand here until someone gets here.
I'm here.
Rod's here. Hi, Rod.
Right.
Waiting.
This didn't come up.
Waiting. Anyhow, I'll get notified that I'm live in a minute. Might just quickly mute the phone while I'm waiting. There we go. Seem to have muted the video as well. Excellent. As usual, a complete success story. And there it is. Haha, turned you off. Noisy notification. Hope everyone's doing well today. My phone's gone like really dark. Oh, I don't know what I've done. Oh, I've turned the brightness down. Hey. Now I can see me again. Ah! It's a freak show. Someone should do something about that. Anyhow, I hope everyone's going well. Today I want to talk a little bit about an experiment we did on our gold tour last weekend. Because I've got to admit I've never done said experiment before. And said experiment was pretty cool. And everyone should be doing this with your pulse machines. Because it really does, when you do the exercise, it really points out the difference. So, what did we do? First of all, the gold tour itself over the weekend was it was one of the best ones I've run. And also one of the ones I thought that was going to go completely pear-shaped. The grass was horrendous. It had been raining. There was no such thing as dust, no matter how far you dug down. It was not real flash conditions for metal detecting for gold. However, I'm going to call it an ounce. An ounce come out for the weekend. The biggest piece was about 16.5-ish grams. It was a lovely, like, square, fat chunk of gold. Really nice looking alluvial piece. And the exercise that we did was with that piece of gold. G'day, Tony. G'day, Lynn. Was with that piece of gold at the lunch break. So what happened was the gentleman that found the piece of gold came down, showed the group. There was 7 of us, 8 of us all together. And we oohed and ahed over the piece of gold, of course. And then I said to the guy, can we, well, tell a lie. We actually did this right late in the afternoon just before we went home. But we grabbed a piece of gold off him. And one of the other gentlemen on the tour had dug a trash target pretty close to the cars where we were parked. So we reburied that a few inches under the ground. We put the 16.5 grammer a couple of feet away. Ran the GPZ 7000 over both targets. And we learnt what an inverted signal was. Now, if you haven't heard an inverted signal, or it's very hard, how can I say this? It's hard to pick up if you haven't heard it a lot of times. So what we were doing was literally one run over the trash target, one run over the gold, one run over the trash, one run over the gold. And I stood there for about 5 minutes doing that. And the difference in the two signals, they call it an inverted signal because the gold signal was the complete upside down of the trash signal. It was very, very, very distinctive. So for all you pulse induction users, now we did this exercise with the SDC 2300, the GPX 6000 and the GPZ 7000. There was a fair few people on tour, so we were spoilt for choice of detectors. And it was noticeable on all 3 machines on the scale that they are on. Look, so the SDC, it was noticeable, but it was very subtle. On the 6000, it was pretty noticeable. On the 7000, it was unmistakable. So, which leads me kind of into the second little part of this story. So we tested that inverted signal, and I was saying to people, on the tour. That would be very hard if you're in the field and you're not pretty experienced with your pulse machine to pick. So I recommend, if you've got it, get a decent little bit of gold, put it on the ground. You don't have to bury it. Get yourself a piece of trash as well, and put them a couple of feet apart, and stand there with your selected pulse machine and hit the both of them and listen for the difference in signal. Because if you do it side by side, repetitively, time after time. Morning, Pepe. How you going, bud? Good to see you, Rusty. If you do it time after time after time, eventually your brain will pick it up and it will become a natural reaction to go, oh, that was an inverted signal. It's a cool little experiment. It's one that, like I said, I've never done before. And when we did it side by side, there was literally people that were there, and people that had used machines a bit were, wow, that like how different it was quite incredible. Morning, David. So do the experiment with your pulse machine next time you're out. Run it over a gold target, run it over a trash target, one after the other repetitively. One, trash, gold, trash, gold, trash, gold, and listen to the difference in the tone, because it's the same sound, but on one of those targets, it's completely upside down. So anyway, that was a very, very interesting experiment, and I highly recommend that you do it. The other thing I wanted to point out that was an interesting thing over the weekend that happened in the last half an hour, oh, not even that, last 15 minutes of the tour on Sunday afternoon. We were down to one gentleman who hadn't located a piece of gold yet. The gentleman that found the 16.5 grammer with his GPZ located a target on a bank, and we called the gentleman over with his SDC, and very, very, very nicely this guy said, dig it up, whatever it is, it's yours. Now, on the 7,000, this target, we all went over. There was, I think, about 5 left at this stage. We all went over, and gentleman waved his 7,000 over the target, coil nice and low, nice and slow. We had done a boot scrape at this stage, and the target, it'd stop you in your tracks any day. Absolutely stop you in your tracks. Beautiful sound. You dig it. Absolutely no mistake. So, gentleman with the SDC turns the SDC on over the top of the target. Nothing. Now, we wound the SDC up to 5. We ground the coil into the dust. We did everything we possibly could to get that target to signal on the SDC, and it just plain wouldn't. We then got the GPEX 6000 out, and we tried it on Auto 1, Auto 2, and 10 manual. On the auto settings, it came through as a target you would certainly investigate if you were paying attention. What I'm saying is it didn't just nail you. Like, you know, it wasn't a track stopper. It didn't little puff of dust as you hit the brakes. It wasn't that type of signal. But if you were paying attention, you would hear it every day. All right, so it was reasonably strong. There was a definite change there. I tried it. I'm going to be honest. It came through, and I've been experimenting with this with the 6000 a little bit. I had the threshold off. We did try it on and off on both, to be fair. But it was more noticeable with the threshold off. Now, I've been doing a little bit of hunting with the off threshold, if you like. And for those of you that have used pulse machines for quite a long time and you're used to the buzzing in your ear, it's certainly a different experience. And I found that particular target came through a little bit better on silent, on no threshold, I should say. It's not silent, than it did running a threshold. So anyway, that was interesting. We then did the 23, we did the 6. We'd already done the 7, but we did it again. Just to make sure we weren't going absolutely off our heads. And the 7,000, it was a stop you in your tracks. It was a great signal. The detector was set on difficult, but wound up very high. So it was like 17 or 18 sensitivity on difficult. And anyway, long story short, those detectors pinged on that target in their exact rung on the ladder that they come in the range. 2300, missed it. 6000, just got it, would stop you. Would stop you on your day. If you were concentrating, would stop you. 7,000 was like pulling a handbrake up. So it was very interesting when I get the... we have the conversation a lot in the store, on the phone, and the chat, on the email. 6,000 or 7,000, Cleggy, what's the better detector? It was proven right then and there that the 7,000 pinged on this particular target. Now, to go right to the end, the target was, I'm going to call it, we didn't actually drop it on the scale in all the excitement. I'm going to call it about 3.5 gram alluvial piece, lovely piece. I've got a picture of it, I'll throw it up in the comments or something. It very much resembled Australia. If Darwin stuck up as high as Cape York, it was a lovely bit of gold. And we were all a bit stunned. It was down about, I'm going to say 8 inches. Yeah, I'm going to say 8 inches. I'm not going to say 10. And nine's a stab. So around about 8 inches, which in the old scale is what, 20, 25 centimetres? In the new scale, I should say. 20, 25 centimetres. And a very, very lovely bit of gold. Once it was up in the spoil, all three machines went mental on it. And again, we were listening because we'd done the exercise. That signal, we decided, was an inverted signal. And it was not an inverted signal though on the surface. We heard that signal change as the dirt kept coming out of the hole. It took us 3 or 4 digs, 3 or 4 cracks at the hole to get it out. So in answer to the question, what machine is better in the pulse induction range? They fair dinkum work exactly as they come on the rung on the ladder. The main differences between the 2300, the 6000 and the 7000 are that the 2300 and the 6000 are very, 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 very forgiving. You switch them on, you whack them in their modes, you ground balance them and you go detect them. There's not a great deal of thought that goes into your machine. The GPZ 7000 has tons of different combinations of settings and stuff that you can use. Therefore, it's extremely versatile. But you set the machine to what you want to find on the day. So if you're looking for fine gold, don't set it to find kilo bits at 8 meters, because that's the wrong setting. If you're looking for fine gold with the 7, you set it for fine gold. If you're looking for larger, deeper gold, you set it for larger, deeper gold. So the 7000 allows you that flexibility to kind of pick your target. The 6000 just hits everything all the time. All right. Now, the analogy we use in store is the 2-year ownership cycle. So you've owned a 6000 or a 7000 for 2 years. What we say to people is this is what we believe in store. In 2 years' time with those machines, we believe that with the 6000, you would probably have more pieces of gold. All right. You'd have more bits. But we believe over 2-year ownership cycle, and that's using it and learning both machines. Excuse me. We believe over a 2-year ownership cycle, with the 7000, you would probably have more weight. So you might have less bits of gold in the kitty, but I think you'd have a few more bigger ones. So anyway, bar the factor of, you know, the simplicity of the 6000, how easy it is to use and all that sort of thing. You know, tomorrow, you're probably better off, if you want to find a piece of gold tomorrow, you'll probably do it with your 6000 if you haven't got a lot of experience, all right, over the 7000. But in 2 years' time, when you and your mate, he bought a 6, you bought a 7, when you both sat down with a scale in a couple of years, a scale and a 6-pack, and counted out your bits of gold and weighed them, I reckon the 6000 guy would have more pieces, but the 7000 guy would have a little bit more weight. or perhaps even a lot more weight. But the point is, I think that's how we explain it in store. I think that's the best way to go about it. You know, I can't explain it any better than that. The 7000 is still on the top of the tree for a reason. It's a pretty, oh look, I'm pointing right at it, bang. It's a pretty serious metal detector. And if you take the time to read the printed manual that we'll give you with it, and have a look at the settings and talk to people that have used them and get to know what setting is best for what you want to find on the day, then the 7000 has a lot of potential. All right, but you will require a little apprenticeship on it. Okay, if you're going to go for the 6000, we're seeing a lot of the tandem people, the tandem detectorists, that used to use a 2300 out front, clearing out the ground, with the 7000 coming behind, clearing out the deeper stuff. We're seeing those 2300 out front detectors now turning into GPX 6000s to clean out kind of the top foot of ground extremely effectively. Trash and gold, you get it all. Pull it all out with the GPX 6000 and then wind your 7000 off its brain and come through. So we're seeing a lot of the tandem teams upgrading the front detector to the 6000 while still retaining the 7000, chasing those bigger, deeper targets. So, you know, if you want to go find a bit of gold real easy next weekend, that's your man. It's a killer little machine, works great. And I say little because it's so lightweight. It's a lovely set and forget. Put it in auto. If it gets noisy, noise cancel it. Calms it straight down. If you're going to do a bit of an apprenticeship and have a bit of a long-term goal, don't forget this bad boy. There's some aftermarket coils around. We've got the 12-inch. So if you really want to narrow the field and get the tiny stuff, put a 12-inch on this. Still opens the door to that. The big 19 and the big deep stuff and the holes that take 2.5 days to dig. But hey, if you're going to pick a kilo bit up or a 2 kilo bit, I personally know of a gentleman, 3.8 kilos. Hole was about that. He stood in the hole, land on the pick. The photo has kicked around for a while. Anyway, it was a monster bit of gold. The 3 guys that were on the job, one guy found it obviously. The 3 guys that dug it were all, let's just say they weren't teenagers, and it took them a couple of days to get at it. But they persisted, they got it. So, you know, hang in. All right, guys, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Was number 1, just a quick recap. Do that experiment on a piece of gold and a piece of trash. Try and get a larger piece of gold if you can. I mean, who isn't trying to get a larger piece of gold? Idiot. But, you know, get a couple of grama if you've got it, or you can borrow it, or, you know, get a decent bit of gold, chuck it on the ground, wave your pulse induction machine over the top of it, then wave it over a trash target, and have a listen to that difference in signal. Because if you do it one after the other, morning, Robert, sorry I didn't get to talk to you in the store. I'm a bit embarrassed. I really wanted to have a chat to you guys. Anyway, I had a scheme. Next time we catch up, we'll talk. Yeah, so get that bit of gold down on the ground. Get that bit of trash down on the ground. Have a listen to that inverted signal. Do it 1,000 times. Do it 10,000 times. And really drill it into your brain, the difference. And you'll be surprised when you're out in the field and you get a target. Don't try and talk yourself into it. Actually have a listen to it and ask yourself, is that an inverted signal? Because if it is, you just might be digging up a piece of gold. All right, guys. Practice makes perfect with all this stuff, with all our hobbies. Doesn't matter what it is. So get out there, practice with your machines, bury some targets, have a listen to the differences in them. But most of all, charge your batteries, switch them on, put them in the car, go to a place there's gold, turn them on, and use them. These things aren't wall hangers, all right? They're designed for you to have some fun with. Hey, Bert, how are you, bud? The Ring King. I'm going to make a shirt up for you. So get out there, get amongst it. Remember, GPX GPX 6000, GPZ 7000. Comes with the printed bound manual, which is an actual book you can read with your eyes and hold it in your hand. Keep it with you if you need it. So we've got a couple of these on stock. If you need them, give us a buzz. We'll look after you. Any of the ridiculous deals that are going around, we of course can match them. So get in touch. Look forward to talking to you. Get out, get on the gold, have some fun. Better actually go and do some work, I guess. How boring. All right, have a good day. Bye.